Then we have the spheres making fleets or massive sightings like this one in Guadalajara, 2004. How we know these are not balloons? Because all of them move on the same direction, keeping the same speed and the same distance between them. We see them sometimes making formations and signs in the sky. It is clearly some kind of information. Sometimes they move very fast, making groups. They are not birds. It is very clear now that they are spheres. Sometimes they move like here, inside the clouds, like playing between them. What is clear in all this evidence is the intelligence. These are not just balloons. They show that they are being maneuvered by intelligent creatures. We saw them in Fukushima after the terrible tsunami, after the explosion and just around the nuclear plant. We saw the same kind of fleets or massive sightings that we have saw so many times in Mexico. And in this case, also Fukushima, we see something we haven't saw before. After making all these movements, they go together and create just one group, one object. And this is interesting. I saw this in the television here. I was giving some conferences in Los Angeles and I was in my room when I saw this object. You know, you see the tornado and the object just goes through it without being affected at all. We can see the truck, how it's destroyed. We can see that this object, which seems to be very, very close or even in the middle of the tornado, it is not affected by it. It's just, let's say, a curiosity. Or in this case, in Colorado, we have a group flying together, recorded with an infrared camera. This was just in September, and this is very similar to what was recorded in Iceland in 2010 above the crater of the volcano in the middle of the eruption. Believe it or not, after this was presented by Sky News in England, they say that they were birds.
The appearance of the EBANIs, which is the Spanish acronym of Unidentified Aerial Biological Entities, the incredible snake-like flying objects, has complicated the incredible phenomenon of flying spheres even further. The first sightings date from the 90s. Since the year 2000, they have continued to appear, giving the scholars a really difficult problem to solve and, above all, to accept. In fact, the phenomenon is completely beyond our recognized parameters for aircraft technology. With the EBANIs, the boundaries between biological nature and technological nature seem to blend.
What is an EBANI? It's an unidentified aerial biological entity, which is to say that it behaves as if it were a living being. These EBANIs move as if they were enormous worms in an organic way. There are some really exceptional films of these objects.
In August 2007, Arturo Robles Hill filmed a spectacular ebony as it emitted the spheres. As the object moves into the clouds, we can see how high it is, and consequently, just how huge it is. Once again, on November the 17th, 2008, Hill filmed another ebony emitting spheres. This time, the apparatus is an irregular shape, and it clearly shows the polyhedric and multiform nature of these flying biological entities. These films suggest that the ebanis are a sort of aircraft carrier that transports the spheres.
Pienso que estos cuerpos enormes de gusanos.
I think that these enormous bodies, like snakes, are the way in which the spheres are transported and moved around.
Es mucho más fácil poder mover a un centenar o.
It's much easier to move hundreds or thousands of spheres in a solid closed body rather than individually.
Entonces, yo pienso que.
So, I think that the ebanis are the origin of the phenomenon of the flotillas and of the flying spheres themselves.
Often, the ebanis are accompanied by just one sphere, that the researchers call the century.
En diferentes ocasiones han sido grabadas juntas.
In several occasions, the ebanis and spheres have been filmed together, and we also observed that in many cases they are accompanied by a great sphere, a royal craft that's always there. I don't know why, but we can see it in many videos.
At other times, they appear together with the flotillas, as we can see in this Mexican film from 2007. We can see the phenomena progressively taking shape in this film by the Mexican Octavio Fernandez. Octavio also filmed these ebanis in various colors. At times, the ebanis, like the spheres, cross the routes of aircraft.
Abro mi toma. Mira, el avión pasó cerca. ¿Te diste cuenta más al frente?
Considering the incredulity and the amazement of the researchers themselves, it is understandable that the public thinks of the ebanis as balloons floating through the air. Everything we've seen about the flying spheres already seems complex and incredible. But in May 2009, the Mexican skywatcher Alfredo Carrillo filmed a phenomenon that has never been seen before. All the objects are dark-colored. The witness is filming against the sun. But there are more surprises to come. The event is also being filmed at the same time by another witness, the Mexican Pedro Hernandez. Initially, Hernandez, just when he's filming an aircraft flying past, sees the same flying object that Carrillo has filmed, but with the sunlight at his back. So the objects are illuminated, and the video gives a better image of the spheres than we've ever seen before. Probably, Hernandez is closer to the phenomenon he is filming. The object starts to slow its spinning motion, and then the incredible scene continues. slowly, a flotilla begins to form. When the film ends, Hernandez comments on the incredible scene he's just witnessed.
Aquí atrás de mí.
Here behind me there were UFOs moving around, really beautiful. They were yellow, they were really beautiful, and they were here, just behind me.
Comparing the two videos of Carrillo and Hernandez, we can clearly see that it really is the same phenomenon. The statements by witnesses, the investigations, the exceptional images leave little room for theories of fraud, mass hallucinations, or pranks. It is really difficult to think that the spheres are not real or the result of intelligent life.
Las esferas son un fenómeno inteligente, no me cabe la menor duda. Y nosotros hemos acumulado mucho.
The spheres are an intelligent phenomenon, I have no doubt, and we have accumulated lots of film where we can see this intelligent movement. They are part of a project that is even greater than they are. That's why we should believe that we are dealing with a phenomenon that shows the interest towards and the investigation upon us, human beings.
Perhaps one day this reality will be accepted by the authorities, or perhaps it will be the phenomenon itself that forces us to accept it without waiting for human decisions. It wouldn't be the first time. In the past, events have changed human history. Will we be taken by surprise this time too?